Good morning. Today I wanted to talk about a potentially unpopular opinion regarding our responses to emergency and traumatic situations. Historically, there's been a lot of expectation about how people will respond, especially women. People tend to think they know how they would respond in a given situation, and they expect to see that. And if they don't, there's condemnation and demonizing of the person who is probably experiencing the worst moment of their life, dealing with a missing child or a dead spouse and media surrounding them. Then they have to deal with the public opinion on top of that. And the wrong smile at the wrong time can have them judged in the court of public opinion and their lives destroyed permanently. Even if it turns out that the spouse died of natural causes or the child is recovered at a park a block away, it follows people. The true crime community has been really good at learning and trying to be more considerate of the impact they have on people's lives and acknowledging the diverse responses that people do have. And there is some diversity, but acknowledging that there are differences in response behavior is not the same as saying all behavior is normal. There are still parameters of what is normal behavior. There are exceptions. Some people cannot express emotion visibly to a way that most people would expect. People on the spectrum, stroke victims, there are some people that just don't communicate emotion the same way that most people interpret it easily. There are, of course, the occasional psychopath or sociopath. And, there are a lot of reasons to have flat affect, but these are outliers. The vast majority of people have two basic responses. They either panic, which has value. They can scream, cry, whatever. It draws attention, it draws help, and it draws awareness of whatever the situation is. That is an important, useful, natural response. The other response is to compartmentalize, to become very calm. That is allowing a person to take care of whatever they can in the moment, whatever is practical for them to address. One thing I've always found strange is the way law enforcement would look at someone who is calm and assume their guilt, when law enforcement inherently is likely to be made up of people who tend to go calm in an emergency. So I don't know, that's a separate issue. But anyway, having a feeling that something might not be right when listening to a 911 call or a victim out there speaking to the public, it just means it's worth looking into further. If your gut says this isn't right, there's something off, it doesn't have to be a full-blown accusation. It doesn't have to be destroying their lives or a rush to judgment. It just warrants further examination. And to me, I think that is starting to falter because people are afraid to say, I just don't think that sounds right. They don't want to be seen as not understanding the diversity of response. And I think it's important that we do look at the fact that, I think it's important that we look at the fact that most people do either panic or go calm. So what brought this up for me today is the Grant Solomon case, in which a series of corrupt and negligent people allegedly facilitated the murder, allegedly, of an 18-year-old man by his father. This young man was supposedly dragged and pinned beneath his own truck. His father makes a 911 call, and is quite calm. He expresses the emotion one would expect if they had run over a cardboard box. I know I certainly would be much more upset had I hit a squirrel, but this is his reaction, and it is very calm. And as I said earlier, there's a reason for calm. The problem is he doesn't use it. The reason for the calm, the compartmentalizing, is to take action. And this man doesn't even go to see if his son is alive or dead. He doesn't know if his son is face up or face down. He does nothing. And it doesn't feel right to me. If you're going to be calm in a situation like that, use it. That's why we have the calm reaction. I think even if this were a pure accident, you would expect more from a father seeing his child run over by a truck than a calm phone call to 911 in which he shows no interest in determining whether his child is going to live or die. It's disturbing to me. Everyone does have differences of emotion, but there are parameters, there are basic responses that I think we can expect. And as long as we don't rush to judgment and destroy people's lives, as long as we acknowledge that we need more evidence than that to assume someone's guilt, I think it's okay to look further. I think that 911 call from Grant Solomon's father, from Aaron Solomon, is worth looking at and should draw the attention of investigators to look closer at what happened. What happened with that truck, which, despite supposed mechanical failure, his father went on to drive for quite a while. What was happening in the courts. I'm not here to talk about the Grant Solomon case or Aaron Solomon's guilt or innocence, just about the fact that I think his phone call is suspicious, and I think that means it warrants looking at further. That does not mean that his phone call is enough to establish guilt. I just think that the normal parameters of a phone call like that, when someone is calm, when they're thinking clearly, it's very strange to not go and check on the victim. Anyway, that's my opinion. And again, I'm really not saying that Aaron Solomon is guilty. I just think that we need to be okay with the fact that sometimes we just feel that something is off. And we can acknowledge that it's not worth destroying a life. It's not a guilty conviction. No matter how strong that feeling, no matter how sure you are, evidence needs to be presented. But it makes it worth looking into, bringing investigators into, and seeing what else may be there. We shouldn't be ignoring our instincts ever, individually or collectively. So listen to your own instincts, and I will be back soon. Next thing, I'm hoping we'll be getting started on my top 10 list, which may be a top 7 list, because I'm having a little trouble with my rubric, but I'll figure it out. All right, have a good day.